Hey everybody, welcome to the Warfleets channel. Today we are back into the black skies of Palal to have another fight in space. Now, what has happened to the fleets in the campaign? So for the defenders, they rolled up. The only loss they permanently suffered was one of their small ichthyosaur ships. But for the orc side, in true Warboss Fitz orc Warboss fashion, Murphy has struck. The Hulk ship that was Jawhacker's flagship that was destroyed in the last battle, it rolled one, and then rolled another one to figure out what happened to bring it back into the fight. So that ship has disintegrated. But fortunately for us, Jawhacker was able to just be picked up out of space, because we all know orcs can breathe in space, because they don't realize they can't. He's now inside of one of the Crusher ships and has transferred his flag over to that. Even though Jawhacker's ship has exploded, Jawhacker himself has not died because he had plot armor, and he will be transferred over to this ship right here. So what we're left with in this fight is we have the Saurians with a Mosasaur, 2 Megalodons, and an Ichthyosaur ship, all outfitted like they were last time. And then for the Orc Marauders, 2 Crusher ships, 2 Chopper ships left over from before. And then we've had 4 more Chopper ships able to show up from the rest of the Orc fleet that is coming. The Orcs will just continue to come. The question is, how long will it take before the defending fleet is either destroyed or scattered? So once again in this fight, the Saurians are trying to defend the planet with the fleet that they have left. Everybody who's still here is back up to full. We're going to say their AI crews were able to repair all of the damage that they incurred in the last fight. And then over here, we have our Orc fleet. We have Jawhacker has transferred over to this medium ship here, and then the 3 light ships with him. And then another squadron type configuration of 1 medium and 3 lights. So we are going to see what happens today. And I am going to remember that the light ships go first. Last time I did it backward and did the heavy ships first.
And I'm here.
Yes, the Dice Goblin is going to be throwing some dice. First activation goes to the defenders, and the only light ship they have is the sole remaining Ichthyosaur ship. It is just going to cruise move straight ahead. Then on this side of the board, we do all of the ship classes at the same time before we move on to another class. All of the Orc light ships are going to go, because the only shooting weapon they have is their turrets. Everything else is just a boarding spike and a reinforced ram. They are also going to cruise move as far as they can go, ending up there, closing the distance. Next to activate is going to be the Megalodon ships. We're going to go for the far one, and it will just do a move action, moving forward 3, pivoting, and then another 3. Now it's going to take some shots at that grouping of light ships. Starting off with all the firepower the Mosasaur ship can put out, we are going to start with the turret, and it has the Grand Spine, giving it twin fire. 2 shots with the turret, firing at the lead chopper ship. 1 of those hit. Strike 3, ripping right through all of that light ship's armor. It's going to take a point of damage. Using the twin fire rule at the second light ship. 1 hit, saving on a 6. Takes a point of damage there. Next activation goes to the Orcs. The Crusher ship is going to cruise through the asteroids there, bringing the ship to there. Next activation will be the second Mosasaur ship. It's going to be running into that asteroid field, so it's difficult terrain. And difficult terrain in Warfleets just mean you cut your move in half. So it'll be 2 inches before it hits the asteroid, and then 2 inches for the 4 it has left over once it's in there. Now, let's do some shooting. Because of the other Mosasaur ship right in front of it, it's going to fire into the second group of light ships. Same thing as we did before. The turret gets twin fire at the first ship. 2 misses. Second ship. 1 hit, saving on a 6. That's a fail. The second Crusher ship is going to do much like the first and enter the asteroid ring. Last unit to activate on turn number 1 is the Mosasaur ship. It's going to do a move action to be able to pivot 90 degrees and open up on the enemy. Choosing again to pick on those light ships, the Mosasaur ship is going to fire its turret at the lead, looking for a 5. 2 misses. Firing at the second light ship. 1 hit there, saving on a 6. Oh, they actually passed this time. And then the size shock, the first one at the first target on a 5 fail, and then 5 still fail. The light orc ships are just dancing around in the black, just becoming terrible targets to shoot at. And this is the part of the video where War Boss Fitz realizes he screwed up. I was reading the wrong ship. These guys do not have size shocks. They have quad beams. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire all of the quad beams over here just to go back and get it out of the way. We're going to fire at the 4 light ships in range, going from top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one on a 5, 5, 5, 5. So 2 of them got hit. Strength of 3, so saving out a 6 and a 6. So the top one takes 1 damage. Its boarding spike will be removed. And then second Megalodon ship, same thing. 5, 5, 5, 5. We got 1 hit on the same one that's been getting beat up. It fails its armor, taking 1 damage to its reinforced ram. Turn 1 is over, and the orc ships are proving very hard targets to be able to hit, dancing around with all of their random thrusters strapped to the ship, make them completely erratic targets to fire at. This turn, we're going to see the orcs push forward and do what orcs do best. First activation of turn number 2 is going to go to the Saurian star hosts, and the Ichthyosaur on this side over here is finding himself kind of isolated, so he's going to do the best that he could do, charging in towards the enemy and firing as many shots as possible, putting him there. It's going to fire its obsidian flechette out of the front, and because it is within 12, it's going to get an extra 2 attacks, meaning it gets 4 shots at that chopper ship right in front of it. Hitting on a 5 for 2 hits, strength of 0. So now we actually get to see the light ship's armor of a 4. Saves them both. And then it's going to fire its turret out of its port side at that furthest ship there, the one that has taken a little bit of damage. It's going to get 2 shots, hitting on a 5. 1 hit with its nuclear ammo. It takes away the armor save, needs a 6, and it passes. So now we go over to the Orc Light ships. There are no more Saurian Light ships, so all the Orc Light ships get to go at the same time, and we are going to break them up into groups. The first 3 here, they are going to do a ram action into that Mosasaur. So the way ramming works is you take your upgrades and compare them between the 2 ships. Now the Mosasaur ship starts with 4. Then our chopper ships start with 2. They have Orc crews, which count as having +1 upgrade for the purposes of ramming and some other stuff, but that's what we need to worry about right now. So they count as a 3. And then they have reinforced rams where they deal 1 damage when ramming enemy ships. So the chopper ships are lower. When you compare the 2, the ship with the lower number of upgrades takes 2 damage, the one with the higher number of upgrades takes 1 damage. So in this case, all of our chopper ships, all 3 of them, are going to take 2 damage. But with the reinforced ram, we are going to be putting 2 points onto the Mosasaur ship each. So the Mosasaur ship is going to end up taking 6. There's not any dice rolling, this just happened. On top of that, 2 of the ships still have their boarding spikes. Boarding spikes mean that when you ram the enemy ship, you can place a boarding marker on that ship. So the Mosasaur ship is going to end up with 2 boarding markers on top of taking the 6 damage. There's really no reason to have this dice box here, just for formatting. It works. Look, I threw some dice. So in the aftermath of all that, our chopper ship that had already taken damage did take enough to be destroyed. One of our chopper ships lost its boarding spike and it went into its reinforced ram. The other one lost its boarding spike. They've taken 2 damage apiece. The Mosasaur ship taking 6 damage, it lost its obsidian flechettes, it lost its size shock, it lost its grand spine, all it has left is nuclear ammo, and ended up with 2 boarding parties on it. Small orc ships in sufficient numbers can do that. The rest of our light chopper ships, they're not going to be able to get there with 1 cruise action, and in order to keep the targets in front of them, they're just going to be using a move action of 6 inches, ending up there. Now moving up to the medium ship category, we have the Megalodon ships. We're going to do the first one pointed down. It's going to be the first one to activate, and we're going to get a move action out of it, putting it there. Once again, firing at some light ships. We're going to start at the top. 5 up, 5 up, nothing. Now we have the quad beam. 1, 2, 3, and then arcing through to the medium ship behind them. 4. So 2 hits on the light ships, saving on a 6, pass, and fail. And then at the crusher ship in the back, strength of 3, armor of 3 goes to a 6. And it saves. Next to activate will be the Orc crusher ship up at the top. We're going to get a move action out of it, putting it there. And then it's going to fire its turret and ripper array at the Ichthyosaur ship on its port side. And then its red blaster all the way through into that Megalodon. The ripper array and the turret are the same strength. We're just going to roll them together, hitting on a 4 for 2 hits. Toughness of a 4, so that means that strength of 1, looking for a 5 to save. Saves them both. And then the red blaster has the overheating rule. If I roll a 1 to hit, it takes 1 damage. Firing at the Megalodon ship, 4 shots, strength of 1, hitting on a 3. No overheating and 3 hits. Strength of 1, toughness 3, saving on a 4. It takes 2 damage, blowing off its obsidian flechets. The second Megalodon ship is going to activate next, and it's just going to do a little wiggle, bringing itself out of the asteroid field, firing its obsidian flechets into the light ship right in front of it, and then the quad beam out the side. So firing out the front of the ship with its obsidian flechets, looking for a 5 to hit. We got nothing. Once again, the Orc little light ships are proving to be really hard to pin down. And then firing the quad beam out the side. We only have 3 over there, so it gets 3 shots. Again, top to bottom, 5, 5, and 5. Only hitting the lead ship down there. Saving on a 6. And it saves. Wow, the Orcs are definitely blessed today. Next one to activate is the second chopper ship. The last medium ship we have to activate. It is going to move forward with a move action, putting itself right there. Once again, against that Ichthyosaur, we're going to do the turret and the ripper array. 5 shots, hitting on a 4. 2 hits, saving on a 4. 1 save, so it takes 1 damage. And then it's red blaster at the Megalodon. No 1, so once again doesn't overheat. And 3 hits, saving on a 4. It takes 2 more, taking off the nuclear ammo. Next, we move on to the Mosasaur, the heavy ship on the board. First, we have to figure out what happens with those boarding markers. Now, we roll a dice for each one of the markers, and on a 4+, the marker is removed. Otherwise, it takes 1 damage. And both of those markers damage the ship, which that Mosasaur ship only had 2 points left. Blowing out its nuclear ammo, that is going to be the end for the Mosasaur. At the end of turn number 2, the little Orc ships are putting in a ton of work, able to blow apart that Mosasaur ship and possibly opening the door to get the rest of the Orc fleet down to the planet of Palal. First activation is going to be the Ichthyosaur ship. It's just going to do a little bit of maneuver back here, using a move action to be able to get it behind one of the crushers and fire into the side of the other. First firing its obsidian flechet into the crusher ship in front of it, looking for a 4 to hit. It has 4 hits, strength of 0 and toughness of 3. It saves everything, as the needle-like flechets just bounce off the side of the crusher. Second round of fire, it's going to be the turret into the rear of the crusher ship. And whenever you fire to a ship's rear, it is +1 to hit. So instead of a 4, we are looking for a 3. 2 shots. We still get misses. Now it is time for the chopper ship swarm to go. There's no more light ships in the enemy team. We're going to activate them all at the same time. So let's do some maneuvering and some ramming and some charging and some wah! Ending up like that. Starting with the melee that is closest to the planet, we have 2 of the chopper ships. They did not have the right angle to do a ram, so they are just going to use their turrets to fire into that Megalodon ship. 2 shots apiece, strength of 0, hitting on a 3. We got 2 hits, strength of 0, saving on a 3. It's going to take 1 damage. And then with the other 2 ships that have rammed it, they, again, with the reinforced ram and the Orc crew, count as having 3 systems on their ship when they ram. Megalodon ship has 3 systems, so 1 apiece from the chopper ships plus 1 damage from each of the rams, which means that Megalodon is going to take 4 damage and both of those chopper ships are just going to take 1. And on top of that, with the boarding spikes, the Megalodon is the proud recipient of 2 Orc boarding teams. Now down at the other combat, the boarding ram here is going to be doing 2 damage. And with the damage that it has taken from the red blasters so far in the game, that is going to do enough to take that ship out. So in the aftermath of all of that, we go from this to this. Next activation is going to be for that lone Megalodon left on the field back there. With the 2 boarding parties on it, we're going to roll to see what happens. It is able to repel 1, but the other one is able to do 1 point of damage, which is the last point that Megalodon has. Next to activate are the 2 Crusher ships, and with the only model left on the board is the Ichthyosaur, they are both going to pop their retros and spin. Like that. And now they are going to abuse that ship. So all their turrets combined, we're looking for a 4 up to hit. There are 2, strength of 1, so they're saving on a 5. It takes 2 damage, leaving just 1 point left, and they are going to open up with their red blasters, hitting on a 4, and again, they overheat. 2 hits, no overheat, saving on a 5. Ooh, saves that one. Second red blaster. 2 hits, but 1 point of damage goes on to that Crusher ship, and saving on a 5. And that 1-3 is gonna be enough. And with that, the orcs are able to blow the last defender from the skies, leaving Palal open to suffer the wrath of the full orc invasion.